Hi, I'm Cathi Harrison.
And I'm Campbell.
We thought we'd put together a little video for people who might be considering getting some financial advice for the first time. You might be feeling a little bit nervous, not sure where to start, how to make sure that you avoid some of the worst scammers. I think this kind of issue has always been around for people, but in the post-COVID days, people are feeling especially nervous. You might only get to meet an advisor via Zoom for the first time. So we just wanted to help give you some tips and some reassurance that it is still possible to meet a very good financial advisor and to get some very good advice to help you in your life.
Cathi and I have worked in financial services for many years, and we run a podcast called That Mint Podcast, which is aimed at people breaking down the barriers between themselves and financial services and busting some myths around it. Part of this project is an extension of that. So if somebody approaches you who says they're a financial advisor, my advice would be to do your research, have a look online, have a look at their website. A very important site you should be looking at is the FCA register. That's the Financial Conduct Authority, and they have a list of all of those advisors who are currently authorised and are not scammers and are in no way bad people. So if you go to register.fca.org.uk, you can put in the name of a firm or an individual, and they can give you a lot of information about that person or firm.
Yeah, it helps make sure that you know they're currently authorised by the FCA, which means their qualifications are up to date and that they're keeping up with their ongoing development. On that website at the moment, between now and probably the end of the year, you might find it a little bit unusual. There's a section that shows who's currently authorised by the FCA within a firm, which individuals are. And there's also a section that says previously authorised or previously associated. And the advisor that you've been talking to might come under previously authorised. That actually doesn't mean that they've left the firm. It's a bit of a glitch at the moment as the register's going through a big transition. So if they look under previous, but they are there and actually they're on the advisor's website, that's absolutely fine. We're just aware it's a little bit of a quirk at the moment.
Every time you go onto an advisor's website, there should be a 6-digit number on there, which is their FCA number, and you can use that to find out more information about them. What you would expect to see from an advisor when you first meet them, they would probably, whether it's face-to-face or via Zoom, they'll provide you with quite a bit of information. The information you'll be looking to obtain from them will be about them and their firm, the services that they offer, the advice that they give and what they cannot give, whether they're independent or restricted. So independent meaning they can give advice on the whole of the market, restricted meaning that they're limited to certain products. They'll also tell you information about their charges and how much it will cost for the advice, and they should provide you with information on the Financial Services Compensation Scheme and what to do if you have any complaints.
I think in a first meeting, that's a lot of information that you'll want to get from the advisor, and you should also be prepared that they'll want a lot of information back from you as well. Again, as British people, it can be quite daunting, can't it, to suddenly be asked such intense questions about your earnings, about your assets. The thing with giving really good, really thorough financial advice is the more they know about you and your circumstances, your previous experience even in terms of any advice that you've had and your future plans, the better they can advise you. So be prepared for quite an intense conversation, but also know that it ultimately is just all geared towards getting you the best possible outcome.
Indeed. So if you turn up to your meeting, you will expect the advisor to bring you all of that information, and what they want from you is just complete honesty, thoughts about your goals and your dreams, whether they don't seem to be finance based or not. And also if you've got any information on any plans that you already have, any of your finances, all of those little cash savings accounts that you think are probably irrelevant are really important to an advisor. So come prepared with information and ready to talk.
So we've talked about some of the things to look out for when you're first going to see an advisor and what you might expect from that meeting. And we also wanted to just give some ideas around what to avoid and what kind of things might be a bit of a red flag for you. So if you look on any communications from the company that you're speaking to, their website, any emails, any literature, and it doesn't mention them being regulated, it doesn't mention the compensation scheme or the ombudsman service, that's going to be quite a big warning that actually you're not protected if the advice they give you doesn't go to plan. Likewise, if you go on the register and they're not there, or it says that they used to be authorised and they no longer are, then absolutely avoid them. That register's there for a reason. It's there to protect you. I would also say to really, really avoid anything that gives any guaranteed returns. If they say there's a guaranteed 10%, 15%, 18%, there is no such thing. It does not exist.
And I wish it did.
Yeah, we wouldn't be sat here. And an extra part of that is when it's got any kind of guaranteed risk-free return. Again, it doesn't happen. You need to take an element of risk if you're going to invest. That's just the nature. And if you want to find out more about that, we've got a podcast, gives you information. But genuinely, anything around that, please avoid them. These are companies, they're trying to lure you in with marketing. It's not real, you don't get those level of returns. We've mentioned the FCA register. Also on the FCA website, they actually do have a scam list. So it's fca.org.uk/scamsmart/warning-list. But if you just search Scam Smart and you go to the FCA register, that will take you to it. And what you can do there is actually put in the details. So what type of approach you've had. So was it around pensions or was it about investments? It'll ask you if there's a particular area. So some of the drop down sections are bamboo. Is it asking you to invest in bamboo or car parks? And again, these are warning signs. Any esoteric, exotic sounding.
Just looking around because there's bamboo. Have we invested in bamboo?
It's a genuine thing. Bamboo. Look at this. Bamboo's
I
not
believed you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Who are pandas?
Anything that's a bit exotic or esoteric are generally external, out there investments. They are not for the mainstream investor, and they're highly unlikely to be advised by a regulated financial advisor. So again, if you're in any way unsure, pop onto the Scam Smart website and have a look. When we last looked, there was over 5,000 companies. So you can also put in the company name and it'll tell you to actively avoid those companies. And there was over 5,000 companies on there, which just shows the sheer scale of businesses that actually are trying to scam people, unfortunately.
Although I wouldn't panic, because that is only a small percentage of the actual services that we have that are financial services. There are thousands and thousands of really good quality financial planners out there, and the chances are that you'll come across a really good one, especially if you do your research. It's important to recognise the qualities of a good advisor as well, which would be somebody who doesn't pressure you in any way. They ask really good open questions. They talk to you about the complaints services and cooling off periods, and in no way put any pressure on you to take their advice or to do something that you might not feel comfortable doing.
Yeah, a really good advisor will also encourage you to ask them questions, so please don't feel daunted or that you shouldn't be questioning the advice that they're giving or their ability. If you don't understand it, ask the questions. A good advisor will encourage that and will be able to answer them in a way that you can easily understand.
There really is no stupid questions. We've seen people ask if they can take death benefits early, for example. So there really is no stupid questions, and a good advisor will encourage you to do so.
So we just wanted to finish up with giving you some of our top tips when you're seeking financial advice. So firstly, be cautious. It is absolutely fine to take your time. There is no hurry. You could potentially be making some life-changing decisions. So if you feel a little bit nervous and you want to take some time, then absolutely do.
I would also recommend that you go from reviews, testimonials, certainly personal referrals, somebody who you know who's had really good advice, ask them their experience and see what they come up with, and certainly do your research before you proceed.
Also, the FCA register, as we've mentioned, and the advisor's own website, those two should tally up, and they're a really clear indicator that the firm is who they say they are.
Also look at the types of advice that firms offer. So if you've got, for example, a lot of final salary pensions, you need to look for a firm who can give you advice on those, because not all can. And the same goes for if you're looking specifically for inheritance tax advice or something like that. Make sure that firm can offer really good advice around the specific advice that you need.
When it comes to fees, an advisor should be able to very clearly explain what theirs are and exactly how you will pay for them. Any advisor that says their advice is free, it's absolutely not true. There is no such thing as a free lunch, unfortunately. Advice is very affordable these days, and most advisors will offer a range of ways of paying, so make sure that you're very clear on exactly what the advice will cost you.
And I think the most important one from me would be, if you don't understand it 100%, do not proceed, do not feel forced to do anything that you do not feel comfortable with. Any questions, if the advisor can't answer them, don't proceed.
And we mentioned at the beginning about this new post-COVID world and having to meet an advisor via Zoom. Yes, it is more difficult. You're not in the same room. You're not able to kind of read cues and build up the same level of rapport. However, all the guidance that we've given in this little video applies exactly the same. So don't be put off entirely by Zoom. We're sure you've got used to your Sunday night family Zoom quizzes, and that's good. It might open up the opportunity for you to meet with more advisors who aren't geographically close. It doesn't necessarily need to be a barrier in itself, but still do your research, still ask the questions, still make sure you feel completely comfortable before you go ahead. In terms of avoiding the scammers, just remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, but there is a lot of really good guys out there, and it's an industry that's there to really try and help you. So don't be scared of it, and ask us any questions.
Yeah, I feel like I want to say, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably bamboo. Stay clear. Exactly that. We're completely independent. We're not financial advisors. We work in the financial services industry, but we're not affiliated with any financial advisors. We're completely independent. So if you've got any questions and you feel unsure about anything, please feel free to contact us. You can drop us an email at hello@thatminpodcast.co.uk.
So Jo and I have worked in finance for a lot of years, and the reason we've done that is because we genuinely believe it's a really interesting, exciting profession that has a huge impact on people and their lives and helps them achieve their goals and dreams. We're really hoping that this video has helped you feel a little bit more confident in taking that first step.